well. It's going well. It's going well. Yes. We have the excellent Von Lycon. Oh god, there are so many contributions to the French Stream Challenge already. Dated memes contribution to the streaming kit. Good afternoon, Zagraves. We have the latest addition to our streaming kit, which is my new mic arm. Uppy downy, lefty righty. I can configure it there. Then it's sort of really prominent. Mic arm bicep curls. Yes. Actually, let's sort of. I'm gonna. Let's go there. That feels like a reasonable position. Pro gamer setup. Yes. Yes, that's definitely what's going on here. How many? My God, how many bloody? Do I have any tattoos? No, I don't have any tattoos. I don't. Yes, just never. I don't. No one I really knew growing up had tattoos. It's not really a thing that I was familiar with. If I ever did get a tattoo, it would have to be ridiculous but inconspicuous. We'll see how that plays out. That's Michael Arm to you. Yes. Is it? Have they got some sort of Yakuza situation in McDonald's chains that means that you can't have tattoos? Maybe a marzipan tattoo. I think the most likely tattoo I'll ever get is maybe if Dawnwalker does change my life, which it might do, then I might get a little the Dawnwalker symbol somewhere, like on my forehead. No, that would be ridiculous. That would be ridiculous, but not inconspicuous. Maybe if I shave my head and then get a tattoo on my shaved head. Yeah. There's a sign saying you have to cover your arm. Interesting. Cohen face tat on the face. It's like a teardrop tattoo, but with Cohen's face inside of it. It sounds like your manager doesn't like you, Sanguine Stranger. Maybe you should consider. Maybe you should consider ingratiating yourself so that you can get away with shit. That's how I tend to do it. The problem with the mic being there is that it's just, well, I suppose it just sort of points at my earring. So we're gonna go. I'm gonna go. We're gonna. Yeah. That's a bit better. Oh, thank you, Zigraves. That's very kind of you. Anne is the name of someone who has seen things or is going to take no shit. I know an Anne who I'm fairly certain could win a war. She'd go in, she'd figure out what was wrong, and she'd sort it out. Yes. Yes, that would be disappointing, wouldn't it, if you got a Harry Potter tattoo? Yeah. It's true. If people turn out to be Nazis, you You'd rather not have the Nazi axe tattoo. This is a story. A friend of mine, I won't give away too many details because you could probably figure out who it is, had never got a tattoo and he wanted to get one. And he got his first, oh my God, we got 37,000 raised. His first West End show opposite someone very famous was... how do I tell you what it is without telling you what it is? It was... It wasn't the Boy in Striped Pajamas, but it was basically like the Boy in a story not unlike the Boy in Striped. No, and that's just wrong. But it's this. We're talking a similar themes, basically. And he was like, "I'm going to get a tattoo to commemorate this show that I've been in for my first ever West End show." And it took his girlfriend going, "Are you sure you want your tattoo to be a Nazi axe?" He went, "Oh, yeah, maybe not." Ay. Right. That would be a very bad idea. Yes. Get it a paragraph. Yes, because explaining things is always. Oh, thank you, Zepol, for the follow. Although that's like weirdly out of shot. What is wrong with? Do I have to hang on? Apparently, I have to make this square. You're a square. I'm a consummate professional. It is the Marajai earring, courtesy of Lady Chimera. Yes, we're joined by many things. My dad once tried to talk a younger me out of wanting him to draw his Mars tattoo Sunday because it could become a hate symbol. I was about to say something awful. I was about to say I would join a hate group whose symbol was the drawer's mask symbol. But no, I probably wouldn't. It would ruin it for me, and I'd be very annoyed. Actually, I would join them just to make sure that I could to fuck them up from the inside. That's what I would do. All my homies hate Tingle. Oh, thank you. I still haven't heard most of it because I was. It's. Oh, Zepoli. Ah. Zeppoli. There we go. Oh, they probably wouldn't mind. They'd be like, oh, they're our kind of hate group. That's what always happens these days. You're like, these people used to care about copyright, and now suddenly, just because they're Nazis. Oh no, where's Scully leaving? Oh, right, yes, all my homies. Oh, good. Thank you. That's very kind. It was a nice. I felt it was a nice thing to contribute to. But it is a lovely thing that everyone does and does the arting together. I'm sure that's sign language for arting together, or at least something together. But I look forward to seeing them as and when they are available. Right, what is going on? Who am I? It's Wednesday, yes, as usual. And oh right, yes, the gift exchange was fuzzy and lovely. I got very confused. I thought you were still talking about your Italian donuts. It's Wednesday allegedly, and as if you've joined slightly later, then you will. It might be obvious, but I'm struggling slightly today. I had some soup for lunch, and some bread, which I ate like a raccoon, without opposable thumbs. I did use a spoon for the soup, otherwise I would be... yeah, I've been Christmasing too hard. Not that bad, but the hangover is not that bad. I'm just tired. I've been moving around too much. Maybe not... Yes, this is something I was going to say. Don't use bare hands for soup, number one. Number two, Elayli, I think I'm going to have to postpone the Screech song for one more week. I promise you, Elayli. It will be worth your while. It will be worth the wait. But in this instance, my choir Christmas concert is on Saturday, and I am already in slightly poor voice. I reckon I could probably do it, but also I feel like I don't know. I still don't. I have prepared it a bit, but I feel like it warrants slightly more. Oh, don't worry. I've literally just woken up. That's partly why I'm so groggy. Will to something 2025. Don't use bare hands for soup. Yes. If anything, use your own hands. But thank you for your suggestion, Furoro. Chopsticks for soup. Challenging. Thank you, a sanguine stranger. What is wrong with these fucking announcement things? That either they're teeny tiny, or they're just... What size is it meant to be? What? Sorry, I'm having a slight crisis here. How do I... Technical issues. Bear with me one moment. Alerts. There we go. Edit alerts. Oh God, I'd forgotten about this place. Oh God, there are too many options here, and it's all my fault. Oh no. Right, it needs to be 600 by 800, so that's the first thing. Who... It's my own fault. It's my own fault for thinking that default settings on anything would be fine. Right. Somebody mark the bingo card. Oh, fuck. I need to put the Discord link. That's number 2. Error number 2 of the day. Let's be real. This is not the second error I've made today. Discord server link. Join the Discord. Where is Yoshk? Yoshk's here. I've seen talk of Yoshk. Right. So where was I? I was hydrating, I think. Yes. Hydrate. Hydrate before you dihydrate. The hangover stream won't beat that episode of the... true, possibly. Cold water on a hot day does kick ass. I also agree. Eating chopsticks with... Oh, we're back to chopsticks with soup. Yogurt with chopsticks, my God. Well. Oh, I'd murder a ramen. Glass water bottle. Yeah, yeah. Let Blue Sky know the stream is starting. That's a good... That would be a thing to do. Yes. I mean, starting very slowly, but... Quote post. Starting slowly. Now. Come and join in. Please. Right. Living where I do water. Real carbon. Yes. Yeah, fair. That's Washington for you. Everybody drink when somebody redeems. Yeah, that's generally the vibe. Sorry for the stupid question, but is there a way to increase the character size font? I use Twitch all of a few hours, and I'm blind, Grandma. I don't know. I'm sorry. I can't help you, Zeppoli. I suppose I could make it bigger on my thing, but it's a very delicate infrastructure over here. If anything goes wrong, it's like a chain reaction. True, the more I did, I definitely had a few drinks after midnight that I did not need to have. I blame Andrew Wilder Dennis for turning around and asking me, "Do we need to go hard?" And I said, "Yes, I'll have a tequila, please." I didn't. I had 2 tequilas and then was like, "I need to get to bed." So see, Yoshki is here. It's fine. Piss maxing in the chat. Yoshk, I think that definitely counts for being horny in chat. Talking about other people's guns. Although we did have talk of bicep curls with the thingamabob. So. Oh, egg on a ramen is the best thing in the world. Hello, Ribbon of the Blue. Oh my god, there are 32 of you in here today, and I've not done anything yet. Oh well. I don't have a headache. No, that is something I do. I feel alive in. Right. Oh, thank you to Graves for assisting in granny text assistance. That's right, Yoshk. It is like moving a picture in a Word doc. Everything just jumps around. Yeah, tequila was a very bad idea. I just didn't. I don't. It doesn't do bad things to me, to be honest. I just didn't need it. It was too tempting and too easy. So. Oh, I'm glad to be helping. Oh, excellent. I'm glad that Junie is here. I'm glad that I'm helping clean the kitchen as well. You can consider this a strange form of body doubling. God, that coffee went too quickly. I think, well, if you keep this up, Junie might get a slot on the bingo card. And someone posted the bingo flim flam. Well, at least for me, it was a fast forward button to go home. So, yeah. Thank you, Nurururu. There's a bingo card for you there if you choose to accept it. I think I've mentioned this before, but mine was probably Krabby's. I used to love it, but also I think it's gotten sweeter. I can't bear the stuff now. It's like drinking syrup. One moment you're straight and tequila makes you snog lots of girls. Yeah. Yes. I can verify the truth of this statement. Hard seltzer. That's a choice. That's a choice you've made with your life, and I feel like that's the result of a series of choices, and also maybe some things outside of your control. Ranch water, excellent. I think Sanguine Stranger. There's one way to find out, and that's through scientific experimentation. So, that explains it. Well, as long as you've got your poison. Have I told you about my incredibly middle class allergy? I feel like I have. Hello, kiddo. Good to have you here. I can't drink vodka because someone brought a bottle of... Yes. If I were allergic to middle class, I might implode. Jägermeister is pretty weird. I've had my share of Jaeger bombs in my time, but I always preferred a vodka Red Bull for the similar effect. It was just I didn't need the sickly sweet nonsense. Oh yes, I'm allergic to peak. That's the one I'm allergic to. No, my incredibly middle class allergy is that I'm allergic to cheap wine. Which I discovered when I was 18. It was the last day of school, and we brought. Well, everyone brought in some stuff, and I think someone brought in. It was either Echo Falls or it was like Lambrini or something. I know that Lambrini doesn't really count, but there was something very cheap and very fizzy that was still technically wine, and that was when I discovered I had a sulfite allergy, and that it's predominantly in cheaper wines and cheaper sparkling wines in particular. Although apparently not Freixenet or Freixenet, however you want to say it. Apparently they don't use sulfites somehow, and it's still reasonable. Yes, that's the one, Jojo. It was nothing serious. I just my face just went like it was the first time I found out what a hive was. People had mentioned them before. I was like, oh, what the fuck is like? This sounds like something bizarre. And then yes, my face went all very red and blotchy, and I needed to lie down. That sounds like something an alcoholic would say. I'm not calling him a liar, but also. But maybe it's possible. There are enough alcoholic actors that that makes me doubt it though. Oh, so many points. I really need to think of it. Maybe I just need to think of something really unappealing, and then you won't contribute to it like mad. Well, obviously, really unappealing to you, but really appealing to me. Although I think that's the problem with this group of people, is that somehow those Pepe Le Pew voice. Oh God, yeah, I'd rather not. Yeah, somehow my interests and yours seem to align. Entire non-talking stream. Yes. Just cancel the next stream. That's what it is. French Kermit. What would that even sound like? I don't know. Oh no, that would require 3 brain cells, and unfortunately, I only have 1. Yes, a lot of actors. I don't know many, like, moderate drinking actors. True, you'd imagine that it was dubbed into French. But yes, I feel like actors are either abstentious because they know that they are a trouble to themselves, or they are deep into things. Actually, that same actor I said about the who didn't get the Nazi tattoo, is someone who has flitted between drinking and doing naughty things and being completely off everything for periods. Yes, alcohol and coke. But yes, basically, people seem to like drugs for reasons. But sometimes they make you do bad things that you don't want to do, and sometimes they help you. Oh, thank you, Scribbler. Thank you, Scribbler. Your gifts of subs are always appreciated. I had a strange thought the other day. Speaking of subs. Which is, what proportion of people... Now, this is a really weird question. What proportion of people who... Where the hell could this be going? Oh, that's lovely. Okay, this is my question. I don't know why I'm having this thought, but what proportion of people who get accused of doing bad things are subs? I'm not talking like closeted subs who, are trying to... with some weird reverse psychology. Yeah. What percentage of criminals are subs? I think that's my question. I think it's low. No, I don't think it's high. I think it's low. But maybe I'm wrong. That was my instinct. Exactly. We're all mostly good people. Hold on. He's onto something. Oh, the hype train's going. What? Look, I meant we are mostly good people. As in, people are mostly good people. Oh, God. Well, Scully, that doesn't help us at all because you're... Well, it sort of does help us because you're clearly a criminal. Hello, Blesby. Glad you could join us. No? Oh, Scully, you've not been here. There's no auto mod. I've killed it. It was a pain in the ass. Ah, yes. how many DOMs are anarchists? Sorry, how many anarchists are DOMs? Or rather, how many anarchists are subs? I think very few. Yes, Blesby, I'm keen to hear your thoughts. Okay. I'm not. I think we're not. We don't want to make blanket assumptions here. I'm generalizing. That's a very different thing. Oh, water drink. Thank you. Yes, all the subs are being very good boys or girls or people. Yes, I don't know why I had that thought the other day. No, I know why I had that thought the other day. I think I was thinking it yeah. Right, never mind. Moving on. I'd probably be a sub because being a dom sounds like... Hang on, wait. Sounds like so much work, but I also have trust issues subbing, so it sounds terrifying to me. Fair. As someone who likes to be in control a lot, I understand that. But then again, the whole thing about what I was just saying about, people using substances to not be in control for when they want that. Yes, I've always imagined that was a thing. Right, I didn't expect to be talking about people's sexual proclivities and whether or not that led to them being inherently a criminal. Don't sub and do drugs. Safe, sane, and consensual. Yes. If there's one takeaway from today, unless you're already a criminal, don't do drugs and sub. If you are a criminal, if you are not yet a criminal and are considering it, have you considered subbing with no drugs? Or maybe drugs. I don't know where we're going. Right. I think that's the thread I was going for. And now that you've written it that way, I'm very sorry to hear that, Indy. That's a horrible thing for somebody to have gone through. But the inherent mindset of someone who does things like that to other people. Yes. Not to say that I don't think I'd ever be capable of abuse, because you've got to be wary of yourself. But I feel like that my natural tendency is not one of domination. Right, that's where I was going. Oh God, there are 37. There are more people joining. Hazel. Oh God, you've missed a lot. We've got a hype chest, and it's a chill girl emote. I'm glad to hear. More people joining to listen to me talk about BDSM tendencies. Excellent. Dance hungover man. I have my favourite... I keep losing this and keep finding it again. I've already had to replace it once. It is my favourite fidget toy. It's very satisfying. It's an infinite cube made of metal. It's heavy. And you just keep... it's just great. I remember having like wooden ones. like wooden things you'd buy from like, museum gift shops. But this metal one, it's just like, love it. I did buy a fidget cube as well, and I thought it was naff. But again, partly because it wasn't heavy enough. It was like plasticky, and even though the bits were, you could fiddle with the bits, but there was no Italian noises. Oh, Tobias, you're alive. Everyone, you saw the picture of me and Tobias. Well, some people saw the picture of me and Tobias yesterday. Well, Tobias, I'm not really streaming so far. So far, I've just accused all DOMs of being criminals, and implied that no sub could ever be an abuser. So it's going well, and off the back of this, I've managed to acquire more people in the stream than before. So I know. So I've clearly my career has been misguided. I should be making generalized statements about people's sexual preferences. And that's what I'm doing from now on. So no more voice acting. Oh yes, and we're also piss maxing. It does help that I didn't wake up until about an hour ago. Oh, this is Yosh. I'm regret to inform you that this fucking face cam thing is not working. For reasons that I am unsure of. Will's hungover philosophy stream. Oh god, we've got more hydration requests. Okay. Sorry, I'm just trying to make sure that I'm not being a total moron, and they are recording in the place I expect them to record. I'm going to become absolutely not. I'm from actor to streamer to podcaster. No. Oh god. Right, that doesn't seem to be working at all. Everything's gone. Everything's going. I think maybe this is what. Somehow it's just got balked. I regret to inform you. Okay, no, that seems to be better. It worked so happily the first few times, and now suddenly, crystal clear voice, 1 frame a second. I don't know. I have touched. You'll have to trust me on this, but I've touched nothing. In fact, it didn't work twice. One time when there were a load of filters on the video, so I don't know. One time I drank Sprite mixed with milk, and it wasn't bad. Good to know. Not accidentally getting drunk. Oh, God. Will de blah, blah, blah. Yes, that's me. Sprilk. Calpis. That doesn't sound great. Let's grip piss max. The sentences today are on another level. Yeah, I will try and figure it out. But I don't. I can probably just blame Windows at this stage. I also, those of you who are trying to follow the Linux journey, so far, it's not gone well. 10-minute segment of Will's hot takes. Yeah, okay, that sounds perfect. Just this Will's spiciest opinions. What is my spiciest opinion? Oh, yeah, I know. I know what my spiciest opinion is. Oh God, right. Get ready to get. I'm ready. Hang on. Too many things going on. First of all, the Linux journey. I need to get a new. For some reason, none of the USB sticks in my house work. I might try and find. I'd do some partition nonsense, but I haven't had the brain space to do it. Then number two. I feel like Hazel asked a question about something earlier, and I've completely forgotten what I was going to reply, and then I keep. Oh, sorry. Yes, cheap wine. Just to tag that one on. I'm talking like £8 a bottle is perfectly reasonable. I'm talking like £2 or £3 a bottle. I've taken my drugs. They will be kicking in shortly. Oh God. Yeah, £2 or £3 a bottle. It's all sulfite. Right. My spiciest take. Is. I got to be careful how I phrase this. I don't believe in Italian food. Now, what do I mean by this? It's obviously Italian food exists. Obviously Italian food exists. Obviously Italy exists. Sort of. Let's leave that. Let's park that one up for another time. But whenever I've eaten, I don't think anyone knows what Italian food is. Okay. Pizza. We know what pizza is. Do we? Do we know what pizza is? I think Italian food, or rather, I think Italians are very proud of their food because most of like Italian food for them is basically just made with very nice, fresh ingredients. But my experience of eating Italian food in Italy has always been fucking awful because you get like, I expected eating Italian food in Italy to be walking into some nonna's house and she would prepare me something gorgeous made with some tomatoes picked in her back garden and some basil. And I think the worst pesto pasta I've had in my life was in Genoa. Right? So I don't think Italian food exists. My name's Stanley Tucci, and I'm Italian on both sides. I agree that there is some food that people from Italy like to make. And also the group eating thing, secondi. Nobody over here ever abides by what these rules are. I've been told things like, just never ordered the secondi. It's not a thing. It's like, but why is it on the menu? It must have some intrinsic value. Ice cream, yes, also a thing. Yes. I wanted to do this, but I thought I was doing the right things, and somehow I failed. My take on Welsh food? Well, in fact, these two things are linked. My opinion on Welsh food and my opinion on Italian food are linked. I remember hearing that story about is it Cardiff ham or Carmarthen ham, and that supposedly uh, supposedly the Romans stole a Welsh ham, and started calling it Parma ham and brought it back, and that's the origin. And when I first heard this story, before I formed my spicy Italian food theory, is that was that, oh, this is total nonsense. How could this ever be true? But now I'm of the opinion that maybe there is truth in this. I think the Welsh invented Parma ham. And, and apparently I'm going to die on this hill. Okay. Sorry. I'm crying. I'm so passionate about this, I'm in tears. 1v1 combat. Yes, I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll take it. Okay. The second half of my spicy opinion is that I believe that some things classed as Italian food are excellent. Basically, I'm having my Italians and eating them. Make the diamond, please. The thing is that, yes, yeah, I don't associate with English food very much. Stop eating the Italians. I don't really associate with British food very much. There are lots of things about British food that I enjoy, but I suppose what this really is the Frenchman inside of me that grew up with a very strong sense of like, what is French food, and like French food is. Okay, I've got it. This is French-Italian. This is a French-Italian war inside of me. It's French food. It has to be French food. French food is all technique and some ingredient. I ate a Frenchman. Look, it was one time. It doesn't count if you've had tequila. Where was I? Yes, French food is all technique and ingenuity, and Italian food is chance and location. Oh God, I've made it worse. Appellation d'origine contrôlée, bitches. Yes, please don't, Tobias. I've declared war on the Italians. Bad British food again. Yes. It's all British food is mostly just beige. Yes, sleep well, Tobias. Sleep well. Recover. Yes, France does exist outside of Expedition 33. What is British food? Yeah, British food is mostly beige. Mostly beige, mostly sausages, mostly potato-based. My favourite foods. Oh God. there's going to be an irony. There's going to be a small amount of irony in the next revelation, which is that one of my favourite foods is is eggs Florentine, and the thing is, it's not the eggs Florentine like the one that is the opposition to eggs Benedict, where it's just like, hollandaise sauce on an egg on some spinach on a muffin. It's like a baked. Yoshka, I'm deep in my own grave. Well, no, Benedict is with the ham, and then Royale is with salmon. Eggs Benedict is excellent. I will take that anytime. Still resolutely digging. So yes, the eggs Florentine that is one of my favourite foods is basically it's a bed of spinach with eggs cracked into it, covered in a Mornay sauce with more cheese on the top. Which is just peak comfort food for me. Obviously, and then you bake it. Obviously, you bake them. I'm not eating raw eggs. I'm not Gaston. I've only eaten raw eggs twice. Oh no, I used to do it for a party trick. That was weird. That was a weird phase of my life. But I had to do it for a show once, and they were stored in a little fridge on the set, and it was one of those little fridges that had a little freezer compartment on the top that wasn't entirely separate, and they'd been sitting slightly too close to that. And one show, I ended up having to swallow a semi-frozen raw egg. Yeah. Our eggs in the UK don't have salmonella. Well, we vaccinate our chickens. Oh, this was a university production. Yeah, raw eggs are perfectly reasonable in the UK. This was a university production. That would have taken some time and effort. There was already a lot going on. We had a streamliner inside streamliner caravan inside a not lecture hall, a theatre going sideways. There was like a rave that went on. There was a full fight scene. I had to basically try and do a headstand in a bucket of water. At least I didn't get stabbed. That is also true. What about snack foods? My favourite snack foods. I don't know what constitutes a snack or not. Yes, I knew. I thought I'd heard that was the case before, about the chemically treating of eggs that makes them more porous and actually causes more problems. Yes, don't eat raw American eggs. Yes, we can. I always keep my eggs in the fridge because they keep for longer anyway. But you can store UK eggs out on the shelf. I mean, I know you can make chocolate mousse without raw eggs, but do you use chocolate mousse? Do you have any recipes over there that make chocolate mousse with raw eggs? Gaston violently recommended. Interesting. Yeah, in the States, that is. Oh, I suppose you can temper them. Yeah, that helps. I suppose in the same way that when you make carbonara or cacio e pepe. I know. I understand every time I say an Italian thing that. Oh God, it's too much of a wormhole. Fancy cakes and desserts and stuff. Well, it's not. It's not that we don't have salmonella on things. I think in the UK the statistic is that if you eat raw chicken, you 1 in 2. Like if you were to eat 2 raw chickens, you would almost certainly get salmonella. If you ate one raw chicken, there's like a 50% chance. I'm not saying that you should. I'm just saying that's them be the numbers. Who was asking for a math lesson earlier? Avian sushi. Yes, yes. Although you can cook bird to a lot lower temperatures than people think you can, as long as you hold it at that lower temperature. Scully, no. Interesting. Oh God, just even the thought of it makes me shudder slightly. I'm still slightly stuck on snack foods. Well, I've already professed my love of like watermelon flavored sweets, particularly the candy kittens. They're Don't eat chicken sushi. Yes, another one to take away from today. So we've got. God, I'm really full of this. It's Soundbite Wednesday today. The candy kittens are dangerously good. Probably too good for their own good. Gay bacon strips. Yes. Yes, the rainbowy ones. I just like basically sour sweets. Oh, but we're fucking chocolate over here as well. If you'll excuse my French, because I think Cadbury's have now we've started doing the weird American whatever it is that's in primary ingredient in vomit in chocolate in some things because Cadbury got bought out by an American company, and they can't. One of them is it Cadbury who used to have the milk thing. Well, now they can't say that it's some of their products are no longer like milky. Yes, Cadbury used to be amazing, but now it's no. This is a genuine thing. Oh God, I'm gonna have to look it up now. The reason why Hershey's tastes like vomit to those of us who haven't grown up with it. Is because butyric acid. There's some process that involves butyric acid. That they use to process the cocoa, I think, or something like that. And butyric acid is basically one of the things that's in your stomach that comes out when you throw up. So. If you're used to the flavour, you don't notice it. But if you are a European, you're like, why does this taste fucking awful? Yes, no, I do. Tony's Chocolonely is the only one that I'm still very happy with. Nah, you bloody Belgians. Although isn't Tony's... I thought Tony's was Dutch. Not wanted to start any more wars today. And it's also fair trade, whatever that means. Oh, good. Not starting any more wars than I need to. I think it was just a way of. There's what's his name? Adam Ragusa has a video on it, on why it is so. And he is a man who I trust, I think. Biscuit of choice. Ginger nuts. That came fairly quickly. Is it true? If it's not ginger nuts, it's chocolate caramel digestives. Although, again, I feel like chocolate caramel digestives used to be better. And they're like, they used to be really like gungy when you bit into them. Like there was a kind of like a good chew, and now they're just weirdly brittle. And too crumbly. Digestive biscuits. It's a very good question. I would guess that some Christian organization in the early 1900s decided that they were trying to, I don't know, that you should have one after every meal so that you could resist the urge to masturbate. That's my guess for most. Something like that, yeah. Like cornflakes, exactly. For those of you who don't know, cornflakes were designed to be so bland that they wouldn't make you sanguine and therefore want to do naughty things. Is that true, Hazel? Well, if it is, I'm glad to be corrected on this front. I have a friend who swears by, you can get, there's Doves are a brand in the UK. They sell lots of like organic flowers, but they also sell what she refers to as like healthy digestive biscuits, which are basically digestive biscuits made with whole wheat flour. And she swears that anytime she's feeling slightly depressed, she has one of these biscuits, and it makes her feel better. So perhaps try it for yourself. Doves, I think they're called. While we're on snack foods, I don't generally like snacking. I just like eating big meals. Or it's not that I don't like it. I like it too much, and therefore I avoid it. What did I say earlier about actors and abstention? I try not to have too many snacks in the house because otherwise I will just consume them, and not at a rate that is reasonable for a human being. Yes, yeah, that there is some through thread there, with gut health, but it's one of those ones that would require keeping a food diary for a consistent period of time, and as someone who doesn't like doing homework, it's of course I like gingerbread, and ginger cake. Like, you know, the like Jamaican ginger cake that you can get you can get it in supermarkets in the UK. I don't actually know what the actual name of the thing is, but anything gingery and stodgy, I'm here for. He said, looking at Copernicus over his shoulder. Yes, of course it is. Easy dopamine, snacking. I used to have a massive. I remember when I was at 13 at school, we were given £1, or it wasn't even £1. It was 90 pence a week to go to the shop down the road, and buy sweets, and I either secreted an extra 10 pence from somewhere or found it on the street, and it allowed me to buy a tub of toxic wastes. And I had to go to see the doctor at the school because I had burned all the skin off of my tongue, because I just kept putting them in my mouth. But I used to love fizzy sweets, sour sweets, all that. I recently got some from a shop up in the borders of Scotland, and they were mind-bogglingly sour, but then very unpleasant. And they tasted watermelon-y afterwards, but they just didn't. It was pure sour. It was like when you have something that is just incredibly spicy but no flavour to it, or my taste buds are not accustomed to such spice, and therefore all they can taste is spice. Yes, my school had abolished the actual tuck shop by the time I got to the year that you were allowed to use it. So we just got to go into town on. I say into town. It was one. We were down a side street, and then there was a one high street. The Banbury Road, I think it was, and there was a Martin's at one end, and another one at the other. It was one of those really old school newsagents that still had the Mars signs on the side. It was lovely. I'm not a fan of lemon sherbets. I've never liked the kind of dustiness of them. I know, and lemon sherbet. Am I thinking of the same thing? The sherbet, the one in the horrible disc casing. Is that a lemon sherbet? Only allowed word. Sorry, presumably you mean trousers, because there's a different problem to be reported there. Sanguine stranger. Yes. Oh no, that's a lemon. No, sorry. Okay, that's a lemon sherbet. What am I thinking of? I'm thinking of the flying. I don't. Yes, I like a lemon sherbet. I don't like the ones that are in the little rice paper discs. What are those things? Like flying saucers? Is that the one? Fruit plus chocolate is a questionable combo. Yes. Yes, flying saucers. I thought the one. Sorry, those of you who are not, and for those of you who are not, don't have the privilege of being English true-born. Anyway, in general, Jaffa cakes, I like them. Terry's chocolate orange, sort of okay. Actually, those things that Indy sent. The English are best. I wouldn't give tuppence for all of the rest. I won't continue singing that song, even though I know all of the lyrics. Yes, those things that Indy sent were nice and chocolatey and fruity, like peach and white chocolate, quite nice. There are certain fruits that should never be put with chocolate. Anything too tart, I find you need. Raspberry and dark chocolate. I'm like, it's none. It's I love raspberries and I like dark chocolate, but I find that the tartness, they're fighting each other in a way that I don't want. I would rather have one or the other. Make me a raspberry tart. Yes. Make me a raspberry tart. Make me a chocolate tart. I'd rather not be somewhere in the middle. Yes. It's always risky. It's always a risky shot, that song. No, Indy, please. I'm interested to hear anything you send. I will be happy with. Raspberry ruffles, which are raspberry flavored coconut interior with dark chocolate. Maybe. I don't dislike coconut and chocolate. Arr. Actually, we can probably go even higher. That's even less in my face, but can you still hear me? Heal your hole, boys. That's a point. I should get that up. Give me a minute while I get it up, said the actress to the bishop. Give me some time to blow the man. Did that play?
Give me some time to blow the man.
Oh, there we go. Marzipan. Dates filled with marzipan dipped in chocolate. Excellent thing. I quite like the bounties, but that's also just because I'm the youngest child, and therefore I will just hoover up anything that's left. A Tim Tam. I have had a Tim Tam. Are they the Australian ones? They're like the little boat with chocolate with like a thing in the top. The Côte d'Or. What's with the Côte d'Or? The Côte d'Or what? Maybe I'm thinking of something else. Am I thinking of the German thing? Oh, yes. No, that's a Tim Tam. What am I thinking of? Any Germans know what I'm talking about? I've already mentioned invading other countries and having wars in Europe, but we're off that for the minute. Marriage High dipped in dark chocolate. Stuff me in a date and cover me in dark chocolate. Have you got something called like a Tim Tim or like a I can see them. I can see them in my head. A German friend of mine once gave one to me. But yes, the almond in marzipan in date on its own, great. Also, these are my Danish relatives produce these at Christmas. Who could it be? What could this day begin? I wonder. Who could be on the cliffs? I wonder. A marzipan covered in chocolate. What's so scary about that? He's the reaving tempest incarnate. Yes. Fruitcake. Fruitcake. The reading Tim Tam incarnate. Yes, quite. Sorry, I went somewhere for a minute there. You love fruitcake is an insult. It depends it depends what you're implying by calling them a fruitcake. We've got marzipan kartoffeln. Thoughts on Christmas pudding? I don't get boozy puddings. If I'm honest. I've tried several times. Christmas cake, great. It's basically just a fruit cake. Even then, sometimes I've had it's just boozy. All I can taste is the the volatile alcohol bits, and it's just not fun. Creme brulee all day. Tiramisu, also a fan. Yeah, maybe I've just never had a very. It's like fish and chips. Everyone's always telling me that, I've just not had a good fish and chips. I mentioned fish and chips and my tummy started grumbling. That's not a good sign. I've just never had... nothing's changed my mind. I find fish and chips is never what I want. And then to put in things like brandy butter. So, for those of you unaware, on Christmas Day, it is traditional, and when I say traditional, again, probably invented in the early 1900s by some Victorians who wanted to stop people masturbating. Whether it was for this purpose or not, that's probably what they wanted to do. But it's basically a fruitcake that is doused in brandy in most cases, and I think, Scribbler, I knew you were a person of culture. And also sometimes you put a penny in it, isn't that a thing? It's a bit like, in France, the galette de roi. And, there's some... whoever finds the penny is the dom for the day. And then you serve it by lighting it on fire. And then you also serve it with brandy cream or brandy butter, because apparently brandy is the only thing that makes people feel anything in the UK. Yes, but I'm talking about the penny in the penny in the was it tuppence? I think it's tuppence. Yes. Anyway, I love galette de roi. It took me far too long to realise. For those, again, explaining cultures. Today we're on food. Today we're on food culture. This is what I've always wanted to do. I wanted to be a talking food streamer. So galette de roi is an almond. It's not technically marzipan. It's an almond paste. Toffifee, that's the one. Thank you, Jaimek. That's exactly what I meant. Tim Tam Toffifee. They are in the same word bucket in my head. It is a pastry topped tart with some almondy pasty stuff, and it's delicious. You have it on Epiphany, the 6th of January. Yes, that's right. And there is a little icon inside it, normally of sort of the baby Jesus or one of the three kings or a crown or something, and you slice it up, and the youngest child goes under the table and calls out who the next slice should go to. Now, why does it? And I realised far too late why you put the youngest child under the table. It's because everyone frantically looks in their slice and goes, I've got the fucking idol. Okay, we'll put it on his plate or their plate, whoever they may be. I'm not the youngest child in this situation. Can you eat the Jesus? You could swallow it by accident. I'm sure that's happened. Thank you, Jaimek. That's what the one I was thinking of. Yes. Yoshk, I've got that in my head by follow the leader. Mince pies are the best thing ever invented. I will fight anyone who disagrees. I adore them. I think maybe Jojo, you like them for the same reason I like them, which is because when I grew up with them not being available generally. Same with like back bacon. I felt like for some reason when I was younger in France, when I growing up in France, they just didn't have like thick bacon. To go back to your point on the... oh, somebody just followed. Thank you, somebody. I can't see what that name is. Activity feed. Casey Explosion. Ah, thank you for joining us. You've joined on a stream where I'm slightly hungover, and I've already started one war. I've accused people of one sexual proclivity of being impossible to be criminals, and now we're talking about my favourite foods. So I'll ignore. Don't worry, I'll ignore you like I'll ignore everything else. Thank you, Ileli. Hydration. To just go back briefly to Scribs. Yes, the casing is sort of like nice and crunchy, and then you get this like very boring white fish at the bottom. Just don't understand it. So I'd rather just have. I thought it, and I'm going to say it anyway. I'd rather just have the casing be around a substantial piece of meat, even if it's just sausage meat, and then I can dip it in my curry sauce. Great. Now I have Chocolate Jesus by Beth Hart and Jovan. I see. Double piss maxing. Yes. Best mince pies. I think a fully short pastry covered mince pie is the best one. I've had a few in the recent years where the icing topped mince pies can get in the bin. Like puff pastry mince pies are fun as a thing. The mixture, no. But like puff pastries are nice as like a contrast, and particularly if you've been making something with puff pastry and you happen to have some mincemeat and just like some spare mince pies no one was expecting, then I'm not Scribbler. Scribbler, you can't say things like that. Anyway, some weird Marriage Eye fan art. Well, when is it not, I would ask. Hello, Stale Donut. You join us. And possibly the weirdest stream we've done so far. I've not played anything. I've just apart from maybe myself, and yes. So yes, and my opinions about actual mincemeat inside. I once made some nice homemade mincemeat, which was an interesting change. With some, like, it was quite fresh. It was kind of cranberry and orangey. I've never done it again, but it was a good experiment. Crumble-topped mince pies. Yes, I have had those. I've had the ones from Waitrose that are Heston Blumenthal, or used to be a Heston Blumenthal thing, that have some crumble on the top, and that's quite fun. I'm now thinking of like a streusely topped one. That would also be a fun experiment. But really, I think we're talking the pure joy is short pastry all round, substantially filled. And no more than 3 bites is is what I will say. The piss maxing struggle stream, yes. I think I put suet in there, as far as I can remember. But it was a long time ago. Ah, yes, a mince pie. For those of you, don't say that this isn't educational. So a mince pie is not. It is not mincemeat in the sense of like animal, although there is some suet in it, which is pork fat, I believe. Pork fat from around the liver? I think I'm making that up. And so it's basically just like it's raisins and currants, a lot of cinnamon, Christmassy spices, and it all goes very gungy and gelatinous inside there, and it is a sweet. So that is why there is potentially orange in there. You know, orange peel, that kind of thing. The Gourmet Tart Company. Well, I know where I'm going. I like my pie substantially filled. Thank you. Oh, I see everybody else was... All the other Brits were already explaining it. 3 people follow today. Okay, again, this is the problem. If it seems like the stream's going a particular way, then this is just it for the rest of it. Suet is animal fat. Yes. Kidneys. Thank you. I was, kidneys, liver. Food, cooking, and cooking history. Yes, they are one of those. Now, on to another spicy food opinion. I fucking hate cream eggs. I think they are maybe the worst thing ever, and they actually make me want to vomit. While we're on seasonal foods. Like they are just so horribly sickly sweet. Yeah. Like... Hayne, you would be the one. A cream egg is like a... Oh god, that would be awful. I would cry. I think that would ruin my Christmas. I just can't, like, there's something about the consistency of it. It's like Calpol on the inside somehow. My brain just doesn't... Yeah. And it's so sweet. And artificially coloured. Oh, yes. Again, I don't think I ever liked them. Scully, please. His diabetes is over 9,000! Water.
I dreamed a dream the other night. Lawrence away, John.
Just to change the scene somewhat. Right. Should we do what we came here to do? I've only been talking for an hour and a half. Oreo-flavoured Coke? Oh, for God's sake. Somebody needs to be shot. Ore. Oreo. A large Jonathan? Who is this large Jonathan? Reo. Lovely to meet you, Jonathan. And thank you for your bits, Casey. Favorite donkeys are aliens. Favorite jam. Damson jam. Oh, ooh. Or an apple and blackcurrant jam with a little bit of like. My mother-in-law once made some apple and blackcurrant jam that had a spice in it. I think it might have been allspice, just like a little bit in the background. It was just like irresistible to me. Favorite jam is Pump Up the Jam by Felly and Tectronic. A strong choice. It wasn't a traditional one. It wasn't. I don't think it was clove, because that's quite recognisable. And it wasn't cinnamon, because cinnamon's one of my favourite flavours. My favourite flavour. Space Jam, also a good choice. Very good, Stale Donut. Very good. Out of this world. Used to be 2 dams and trees outside of this apartment complex near where I was in London. The fruit just kept falling off and running down the hill. No one knew what they were. Oh god, that makes me think of the time when I was in I went to a party at the Alhambra Palace. No, it wasn't at the Alhambra Palace, but it was nearby the Alhambra Palace. And there were some olive trees, and the olives looked very ripe, so I thought I'd try and take one off a tree and put it in my mouth, and that was a big mistake. They are very, very, very bitter. Tannins will fuck you up, and they will stick with you. They will stick with you for hours. Ooh, pomegranate liqueur. Ah, thank you, Midorime, for your 2-month subscription. Organise your micropress, Seagraves. You heard it here first. Okay. What year is it? It's 2025. If we want to finish Rogue Trader by 2029, thank you, Nika, for reminding me to hydrate. I should probably play some Rogue Trader. According to Warframe, it's 1999, and I think it's just been revealed that that XX99 is 1899. I saw it on the Reddits. So we're going back in time, baby. Right, it's time to trade some rogues. Rogue some trades. Let's get 10 minutes of game in. I can't remember where we were. And knowing me, the game probably has to update, doesn't it? No, we were lucky. Right, 3, 2, 1, transition. Transition. Oh, ooh, cherry Bakewell Old Fashions. My family-in-law live up north, and we have had reason to go to Bakewell and have actual proper Bakewell tart, not like the ones you get in the supermarket with a little cherry on top, like ones that it's basically like it's Bakewell slice, I think they call it, and it's very, very tasty. Will takes a shot every time Argenta misses. I think I'd be on the floor before we'd finish one fight. Oh, bye, kiddo. Have a nice... I hope that the dog is okay. Dark Heresy Alpha in 2 weeks. Interesting. This is how you get coins. Yeah. Yes, actually. No, I think we were already technically in year 2. We missed the big event. Of the year. If anyone knows, it'll be in Yoshk. Will takes a shit. We've moved on from piss maxing to shit maxing, I see. Bakewell's up north, isn't it? It's north of Watford. Fine, it's the Midlands, but you know what I mean. I have enough of these arguments with my family-in-law. No, I don't. I don't argue with them. They're all lovely people. It's not anything north of London. It's anywhere where someone would unashamedly wear a flat cap. I think counts as the north. Right, I've got myself cancelled enough times today. I think I should probably get on with playing the game. Right. Okay, this is your headphone warning. And am I wrong? Cancelled, started a war. It's all... Night Lord character voice for Andrew Wincott. Interesting. That would be a fun thing to see. Right. Your headphone warning. You have 1 minute while I fiddle with my fidget toy. This is my little Blorbo Scrumptious. He's a child murderer and flays people. Tee! Oh, I didn't know that he'd narrated the novels. Ah, that's fun. Oh yes, they've explicitly said you can't romance them. That's sad, isn't it? Oh well. What did I learn yesterday about... Did James Workshop kill off some characters in a tweet? Or was I very drunk last night and misunderstand something? If anybody knows what I'm talking about, I'd be very grateful to be informed. Yes, something about... Yes, that's it. That sounds like it. Which is... Someone needs to take the retcon stick away from them. Shoreditch is the north. James Workshop's tagline. Bruh. That's the law. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. I met yesterday. Oh God, what was his name? What are the 3 playable characters in Space Marine, as in the main story? The headphone warning is still active, by the way. So you can't accuse me of not warning you. There's Titus, Chiron, and Gadriel. That's it. Yes. I met Yes, it was Gadriel's VA, who was out last night, who I'd met for the first time, which he was a lovely man. Oh, I'm not spoiling anything. I just met him for the first time. And he was wearing somebody took a photo of it. I don't know when it appears. I will show it. But he was basically wearing a t-shirt with just Gadriel all over it. I think it even had it might have had his face and Gadriel's face next to it. It was very funny. I'm just gonna check if anyone's put it on Instagram actually. I've been tagged in something. It could be it. Nope. I've been tagged in collaborating on some strange post of something else. So that's not the one. And the person who took the photo hasn't posted it yet. There we go. So, the Spanish actor for Vegeta's website. I don't know what that is, but I can make an... I don't think it said girl dinner on it, though. But yes, it was particularly goblin-y. Maybe next time. Right. It's time.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's Wednesday, my monkeys.
Slight hangover. Great scream. Title of my... No. Oh, excellent. I will have to have a look at it. But I am... Hang on, I'm going to look at that now. I know I've already started playing, but... Why... Can you ever get off track if you never get on track? That's what I want to know. Shit posts. Yes, it had that vibe. I can't remember if he actually had his face on there, but it was very much the same vibe. No tracks for you. Right, where am I? We were doing a thing. We've got to enter Cabela's mind. Oh, heck. 3 sorrowful phalanges. Thank you for joining, Nurulururu. We'll see you next time. Let's go to the Astropathic Chapel then, I think. That sounds like a jolly... Actually, we don't want to go to my quarters. How do we get there again? Let us use it to enter her mind. I feel like this might be a bit of a struggle. Nah, this is my lineup. I'm sticking with it. I'm just gonna grab a jumper. Gibella book event? Oh, fuck. I beg your pardon. Press any key. Thank you for joining, Casey. How are your ghosts? I'm prepared for the risk. Put us in a trance. The approved non-Italian foods. Yes, quite. Of course I'm not reading. You know what you're here for, right? Numbers, numbers, numbers. That one's... There's lots of brackets here. Here's death. Coercion. No, that's fellowship. Coercion. Here's death. This book can't stop me because I can't read. Blow it up. Here's death. Went down on one knee. And speak the Domin did. Requires iconoclast. Balls. Heretical? What am I doing this heresy for? It's got brackets, but what am I doing the heresy for at this stage? These kind of things, the Domin's shadow loomed over the darkness, is thrown into bound back and changes it. To spare him from brutal execution, he surrendered the Domin's shadow at once. Yeah, go on. A little bit of heresy. Agreed to pay the price. Oh god. He is death. He is death. Domin, rogue trader. Look at the choir master. I spoke to the Emperor. That was not the Emperor. Oh, good. I'm not... Yeah, that seems reasonable. Emperor, please. Where's my... Janris! To the bridge. The Twitch drops. Interesting. 15 minutes passed. You found them. I must go to Dargonus. Right. To Dargonus we go. When in doubt, save. Yeah, good call. To Dargonus. Back to the Expanse. Chart new routes. Just the one. Where are we? I always forget where Dargonus is. Have I been to that one? Yes, I have. I've lost dog anus. Send a flamethrower squad. Good. This is an uncharted system. What? How's that possible? Board the Heartless. This can't. This is going to go well, I'm sure. There's lots of stuff here. Valley of Sleep. Study the gas. Made a grenade. Lovely. I've not done any of the Lex Imperialis stuff, so oh, well that's fun. What's on this rock? Have we got enough plasteel? It's always good to get plasteel. Hermes love plasteel. Ooh, lovely smuggler's cache. Oh no, I don't want to go there. Right, no, this is not where I'm meant to be. Hello, Gelifus. Angelical goose. Angelical goose. Yes, that's Dargonis is there. I thought so. Yes, you missed a lot of nonsense. Ah. Blessed by the holy gifts. Come on, they can just caution themselves. Oh, please do. Yes. Please demarcate your serious questions. There's a lot going on Dargonis. Yes. What brought me to voice acting? What? It is always something I'd wanted to do, I think. I trained as an actor in London. We did a bit of voice acting stuff, and I was like, oh, I'd quite like to do this. And then I sat next to somebody at an event called Leonie Schleesing. It was what do they call it? A workshop for a musical. And that seems like it solved the problem. And they said, "Oh, you've got a great voice. You should do these steps and get into voice acting." And basically, the reason I ended up getting into voice acting was I then didn't get any acting work, and needed to find ways of making money, doing the thing that I wanted to do. So I started off on Fiverr, doing shitty little jobs here and there. Learned a lot very quickly. Did a few audiobooks that some people have found, and that's how I started. Really. So it was partly people going, "You've got a good voice, you should have a go at that," and partly not having other kinds of work that made me maybe go like, "I'm going insane." Right. What does this one need? We need Bastion. We need Bastion. Do the Bastion. I will take this group. As I say, it's Leonie Schlesing. So the voice of Aurore in Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty, is that it? How do I prepare for a VO role compared to other kinds of roles? Well, in general, I would say 99% of the time, there is no requirement to learn any lines in a voice acting role, which is a very different thing. So that's whereas if you're doing a thing on screen or on stage, you need to know your lines because you can't. You're expected to. Your face can't be looking at things that are not the screen, not the camera. Sorry. Whereas when you're doing voice acting, you're just looking. You're stood in front of a screen next to a microphone, and so you can look. So a lot of. Weirdly, I would say that the big difference is that I would say the amount of preparation is very small, or rather compressed, because partly by design, by some people who like to not give you scripts until the last minute, but also because even if you have the script, you almost certainly won't have any context when you get it. You'll have to wait until the session and talk to people about it. So it's like you have to do the whole process of have a go, have a guess. I don't tend to do much like character building outside of sessions. I tend to do it. It tends to all happen as the work is being done. Why am I here? Who am I meant to be talking to? Meet Erebizes. The Erebizes. They're very busies. Those are aristocrats. So yes, I would say that the difference is that when you're doing anything on screen or on stage, you build a package of a thing, you learn it, and then you kind of play with it over a period of time and develop how that shapes. Oh, the Master of Ceremonies, who looks just like me. Whereas in voice acting, you come in with an open mind, the voice you did for the audition, and then you play 3 times per line. And that's sometimes all you get. Sometimes you get more than 3, but yeah. I don't think that was Clementia. I don't. But that's because I'm a good sight reader. Much as it might not appear so. But in general, yes, I'm generally pretty good at getting a line, having a good guess at what the context is, and be able to read it without making a mistake with the words. Is it because NDAs, they can't give you more context? Sometimes. Technically, yes. But NDAs are a weird thing. I've spoken about this before. That I wouldn't advocate for people breaking them, but I think they are misplaced in most. They're definitely misplaced in most kind of, what's the word, circumstances. It doesn't. They come from a world of business that bought into games because the theatrical world was less, or the stage and screen world was less interested in it, I think. I just strongly believe that unless there is a story reason to do so, we should be able to talk about games as soon as you're in them, because it doesn't hurt anyone. And I also strongly believe that there is a lot of information that journalists could piece together if they cared about this stuff. They could go on LinkedIn. I agree with you on that as well, Hazel, that sometimes it's for context purposes, it's easier to do stuff in person. But in terms of, again, my NDA point, which I like to hammer on about, but there we go, is, you could do some sleuthing and be like, oh, hang on, these people are friends with these people are connected on LinkedIn. These people follow these people on these social media. These people have taken a picture in the same place on the same dates and posted it. And this person is has said that they were working with these people this week. If a journalist gave a shit about who was working on what games and when they might be coming out, or even just like speculatively, they could find this out. They could find out a lot of information very quickly. But the truth is, nobody gives a fuck. So they don't do it because it would make no difference to anyone. The one thing an NDA covers the company for is if they have to do a recast, which happens in processes. Sometimes as you're developing a character, it becomes clear that, like, oh, hang on, this voice is not the voice that... It was good when for the first, like, iteration of the character we had, but we've realised that as time goes on, these other things are happening and it doesn't make sense as much as it used to, and then you have the difficult process of recasting something. But yeah, that is a big pile of poo, Stale Donut. No, if you're selling a game for big monies, you should be paying people big monies. That's the end of it. If everyone's doing something for free, or if it's like a profit share situation, which can be a bit shitty, but at least everyone's in the same boat, and you're all doing it sort of for the love of it and maybe some money. But oh,
The dead know nothing.
Gabella with me.
We shall prevail.
Do I often improvise when working on characters in voice acting?
Follow my lead.
Yeah, I would say it's basically all improvisation, in that because it's not, and that's not to say that like the scripts are a very important basis for your improvisation, but you're not in the room with another person bouncing off them. You're having to just sort of make some strong choices and guesses. Yeah. So there's I worked on a big game earlier this year that was a lot of work to put in, unless I got paid for the hours that I did. But it would be nice to be able to be like, this was a big thing that I spent some time on, and now it's just like nope, probably never going to see the light of day. Jurassic Park Triceratops poo size pile, yes. Always found VR worked remarkably challenging because so much is done solo. Yes, you're placing a lot of faith in the directors and writers to be able to steer you right, and not just leave you hanging. Most of the improvisation I do is around. The thing is that acting is mostly improvising, I think. Good acting, anyway. I think it's one of the reasons that I like the system of like quiet seat of your pants thing. Because you don't you don't come in with your little pre-made sausage that you've made of the character and go, here, put my sausage into your machine, please, and make a toad in the hole. you come in and you have the lines and you do it and you learn as you do and you try and find other things. You know, you try and breathe in places that are different to accentuate other things or give things some pre-life, like, you know, umming, ahhing, making a hissing noise, whatever you want. Yeah, it's called that's. But I like that. It gives me, it somehow gives me more freedom to be like, it doesn't matter if I fuck around with this because no one's expecting me to have the character all sorted out. Pascal considers the sausage in his machine to be heretical. Yes. It all comes back to food. Why are you not coming?
Blood is my life.
I can't.
Death is my duty.
Okay, we can't go through the... No, we can't go there. I'm meant to be doing something, I think. Oh, am I talking to aristocrats? Which was the fucker? Matt Erebus? No. Yes, some directors have know exactly what they want. Oh, bugger. Failed the awareness test. Whereas other directors are more just like, let's find this together. I will leave it up to you which ones I work best with. That's been my experience. That I've... Not necessarily that it's been different. Well, I suppose maybe it is that it's been different, but it's like that sometimes a writer has done something and not known exactly what the voice is that ties it all together. And I've had comments in the past of people being like, I heard it and I was like, oh, that's the voice. Like, I remember doing an audition for something, and it was a recall, and it was an adaptation of a book, which the author had done some audiobooks of, and so had read all of the voices for. And he was on the call along with the director of the project, and they played back my audition for the first that I'd done for the first round of stuff that I'd got recalled with, and the the writer was like, so what are we doing now? And they were like, well, we want to, do you want to hear Will do some stuff? It's like, well, that's the voice of the character. Like, what more do you want to hear? I was like, oh, that's nice. Like, sudden validation in this recall. Alright, do you think perhaps some actors prefer being screen acting due to there being more of a blueprint for the character? Yes, I think so. In the same way that some people prefer screen, because stage... I think one of the reasons why I think that stage is more similar to voice acting than screen is because of partly because of the size of the performances that are required, and partly because of the kind of improvisational and interpretation, continually living interpretation element of it, which I don't have experience on screen, so I can't say whether that exists in the same way, but my experience is certainly that. And I know some people just like going in, doing it how they've prepared, and leaving. I have to talk to family members. Hello, Malkavine. Not a problem. Thank you for joining us. Right here in Tin Curry. Oh, right. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, and as you know, the more you record a single character, the more I come in like knowing the baseline of what's going on. So the more I recorded for, when I was 100 hours into recording Cohen, I had more of an idea of the baseline, the place that the character was potentially coming from, and could still play with individual lines and individual stuff, but didn't need to discover the basis every time. Thanks for joining me, Laura May. Observe silently. Refrain from interfering. Oh, thank you, Sanguine Stranger. Corn. I can't wait to play him either. I'm very, as I keep saying, I'm very excited. You can tell from the way I'm talking about it. Not familiar with VO recording processes in the UK. It's like 4-hour sessions at a scaled rate. No. Our union is not very good at negotiating voiceover rates. Even worse than the States. And because it was basically a bit of a wasteland for very boring reasons for a long time. It's not bad. It's it is better than a kick in the teeth. But you get an hourly rate, and some places operate there's no standard there, but there's an hourly rate and an additional basically 1 or 2 hours of hourly rate count as your buyout for the whole game, which sometimes includes marketing materials, sometimes doesn't. There's just a lot of stuff that is just individual basis, individual game to game basis, individual developer studios, all the stuff. There are some now generally well accepted sort of baseline rates. You would struggle to find a AAA developer who was offering less than £250 an hour for a video game, and if they were, I would have strong questions, and I have in the past had strong questions. Whereas in the States, it's, I believe, more like you have a 4-hour chunk, and there are generally no minimums as well. There are also some weird rules. There's not really any agreed thing about penciling. So if you're penciled in for a session and then they need to move it within 24 hours notice, that's all something you have to negotiate yourself. It's yeah, a bit tedious, but the rate of pay is very solid. Maybe not when you consider that there are no residuals and it's not affected at all by how well the game does. But yeah, I hope that answers the question. And obviously I've done some work with people in the States, so I have an understanding of that. 4 hours is a day's work, I would say, from a voice acting perspective. Having recently completed 2 full days of work, a lot. There was a period when I was recording Dawnwalker and the other game that I was playing a main character in that got cancelled at the same time, as well as doing at least 3 other projects. And that was, yeah, basically ended up doing a 4-hour day in the morning, a 4-hour full day in the morning, going somewhere else and doing a 4-hour full day in the afternoon. I did one, in theory, 8-hour session on Dawnwalker, but we didn't need to use the full 8 hours because we got through most of it pretty. Like, we worked fairly quickly together. So, but they were all like, "How do you get like? How are you going to do this? How's your voice not going to be completely fucked?" And the director said, "You do realise that Will often would finish a 4-hour day with us and go somewhere else across town and do another 4-hour day. So I think he'll probably be fine just sticking with us." Okay. Oh god, what's going on here? Let's leave it up to Gabella. Oh god, she died. Orison. Heart attack, Cabela. What's the boldest, riskiest choice you've ever made in an audition? That's a good question. I would say... Don't know, can't think off the top of my head. I did speak to somebody recently. It's probably making like a strange noise. I was speaking to somebody recently who said that they did an audition that required them to do a belch. Didn't require them to, but they were like, "I should do a belch for this. It feels like it needs it." And they had to show it to their partner and be like, "Is this okay?" I feel very conflicted about whether I should just belch into the microphone and send it off. And they got the job, so these things can pay off. Hazelman Fortin, if I recall, you've done PCAP work. What was that like? Pretty... I don't want to say uninteresting, but it's sort of... They've just put a camera on your face, and you just make... I don't know this for a fact, but my suspicion is that PCAP is mostly about syncing lip flaps. I think a lot of other things can get tweaked. It's not like you're having to like really accentuate the way your face moves. Like, a lot of the time you're not getting a facial likeness. It's just for... PCAP is performance capture. So motion capture is when you're in the funny suits with the dots. PCAP is when you have the helmet or a little headband thing and the camera there, and potentially dots on your face. Worms. Gum. Ever known on mocap or PCAP for a character that was voiced by somebody else? Well, I've done PCAP. I did PCAP for Rise of the Ronin, where technically it was the mocap was done by somebody else, and the original language was Japanese. So I was doing it sort of dubbing, and again, that was a real lip flap moment. Have I done anything else? There was a project I worked on where we did... It was going to be... They needed it to be fully performance and motion captured. The way that it happened was... The way that it ended up happening was we recorded basically a radio play version of all of the game's cutscenes. So we we all stood in a circle, read through all the cutscenes, did everything together in one room, which was a weird thing to do in a games context. And then we... yes, sorry. So it's making lip flaps is literally the flaps of the way that your mouth moves syncing up with the audio. So we recorded this radio play. We sent it off. They sent it off to a mocap studio in Eastern Europe, who did all of the mocap synced to our radio play performance of the cutscenes. And then they came back to the UK, and we did all performance capture synced to the Eastern European motion capture synced that was originally synced to our radio play version. And that was the one time when I was told I was going to have to learn my lines for something. But then it turned out that they were going to have to correct where the eye level was anyway for the way that their system was. So I ended up just using my reading it off the screen as usual. Right, where am I? Who am I? Who am I? But yes, something that I had not considered until I did Rise of the Ronin was how much simpler, it makes dubbing, in theory, because dubbing for video games in particular, because you're getting the double whammy of the noises of someone's mouth coming out at the same rate that their lips move. There's more going on in fucking... I thought you can't build anything yet. You've still got time. The audition process for a VO role. What is there to say, I wonder? Never finishing this game. No, not at this rate. Not when I start an hour and a half in to every stream, having talked about all sorts beforehand. I just noticed we have 286 followers. That's rather marvellous. I swear we only had 200 about 3 weeks ago. You get sides through, depending on how, from either an agency or a recording studio, depending on who you work with, yeah. And generally I like to work quickly. I get a thing, if I click with it, I'll jump in pretty quickly into the booth, maybe have a couple of goes at it, have a brief listen, sometimes have a listen back, but most of the time I kind of edit as I'll do it take by take and then kind of run. I'll do because often you'll get them in batches of lines. In the UK at least, they tend not to have scenes, they tend to just have individual lines and a little bit of context sometimes. And so I will do a line, figure out whether I like it or not, do it maybe a couple of more times, and then run into the next one. So yeah, that's basically my process. And in the past I was more conscious about things like making sure that each line... I'm still conscious about it, but I do a lot of it more subconsciously now. Making sure that the lines aren't all sounding the same, making sure that... quite often I do this by the waveform, actually, on the screen. If it looks like every single waveform is like this, and then tails off, and then this, and then tails off, I'm like, right, I've used the same energy for every single line. Whereas I try and look at it and be like, okay, like that line is like, you know, more like this, and this one starts quieter and gets louder, and then it might seem like a simplistic thing, but it's just a visual representation of the way I've approached my performance for each line, and I find it helpful. We stand out constantly. Characters constantly other characters. Yes, yeah, yes. Although I have had the experience of being involved with some projects, not naming any names, where the franchise name is just like in the lines, even though they've been like, this is a very, and it's like, first of all, I know who you are, developer, one of the biggest developers on the planet, and I know what franchises you make, and you may have tried to redact things here, but you've said that one of the characters says the name of the game. Again, this is in my NDAs, and games are very silly arguments. Because again, nobody really cares. It's people do it because they feel like they have to. Most of the time. Again, there are valid reasons for it, but I think it is a thing that we do because it is an unexamined. Right. What's next? I've got to report to the Vizier. To the Void Ship. Yeah, I think there's an element of that. I agree. It would make it harder to cancel games if NDAs didn't exist. Have ever been reached out to specifically for a role? Where's the bloody Vizier? Oh, is he by my throne? Where's the Vizier? Oh, is it? Yeah, he's in the shrine, the Temple of the Undying Emperor. Yes, I have been. It's happened more recently. And it's happened a few times in the last couple of years where people have gone, oh, we'd like to hear Will specifically for this character. Oh, look, we're all in the marzipan train. Oh, I've gone behind a wall. Wrong shrine. Damn it. Damn it. I was at the bridge. What would be my dream IP to do a role for? Probably Legend of Zelda. Probably. Failing that, maybe the Tales series. Where is the Temple of the Bloodspun Web? It's not here. Legend of Zelda. I mean, I'd love to try and get in on. I'd love to try and get in on the Witcher series. Just because I enjoy The Witcher 3 so much, and I know I'm, I know I'm lucky enough to have a whole other series that is its own thing. But you know, there's a fanboy in me, and also a world domination, a world dom in me. Is Cabela leveled up? No, I don't think she is. What kind of character would be your dream VO role? Again, a good question. I think in many ways I've lucked out already because I think Cohen is basically all of the things that I would want in all of the things that I would want in a big juicy role in a game, because well, I might answer some of this in this question, which is just first of all spending so much time with the character, that you just but that is a marvelous privilege, and secondly that a character that just has a lot of depth, and that there are, I don't think it's a spoiler to say that there are lots of choices in the game, and I think they are very satisfyingly written, and getting the opportunity to play out all of those is fun, very fun. So there's that, and then there's also being a massive fucking shit. Not as Cohen, but you know, super. We're talking. I mean, as in, Marajai is basically this. Basically being an enormous dickhead, with a posh voice, or not even necessarily a posh voice. I just like doing. I just really like my job. I'm happy doing most things. There's a few things coming out in early next year. That I've had some fun opportunities. And I'm looking forward to people hearing some of them. I'm looking forward to people hearing Lyon Alain next week. What day is it today? Is it the 3rd? Yes, next in a week's time. There's a lot of what I've just spoken about there as well, with choices and complex backgrounds and worlds that are not straightforward. Universes where things are not just fantasies are not like fairy tales, or at least not Disney fairy tales. They're more, grim. They're more grim, with 2 M's, and yeah, I like getting my teeth in, as it were. I'm not. I've completely lost the plot with Road Trader. I've forgotten where I am. I need to level up Cabela, but I don't think I have the mental capacity right now. So I think I'm gonna just keep chatting for the next. I'm gonna set Jegosh on a timer, and I'm gonna keep chatting for the next 10 minutes. Because I can't concentrate on more than one thing at a time, as it currently stands. Yeah. Thank you, a Sanguine Stranger. Oh, that's on the bottom of the screen. How do I do this again? Transition. Yes, hang on, let me get it. Just. Oof. Setting Jagos for 10 minutes. No. Normally, I can cope with these things, but I'm quite enjoying answering questions. So don't limit yourself. I will next time try and limit my hangover. That's the answer, I think. Zipping myself up. Bye, Lycon. It's getting a bit chilly over here. Yes. Would anyone have any more questions for the last 10 minutes or so? What theatre role would you... the theatre role you would still like to do? So last year I did a production of A Sunday in the Park with George, and I played George with an Amdram group in London, and I absolutely adored it, and I am very sad I'll probably never get the opportunity to do it again. But I would also love to do... There are lots of musical theatre roles that I would love to play. Javert is one that I feel like I should play. Like it would be remiss to never play that part. Yes, Stella Nut. Any other ones off the top of my head? What is it? If ever they do a production of Camelot again, I'd be interested. And also Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder. Then on straight plays, the production I did where I had to eat the raw egg was of Jerusalem, which is a fantastic play. That's one of the things that I found really inspiring as a younger person. But yeah, it's very English coded, so it's hard to. It doesn't translate very well. But yes, I was playing the main dickhead in that, which was very good fun. I'm just gonna readjust again because they're not. What made me want to become a full-time actor? So I went to university, aged 18, having spent a lot of time at school doing plays because I liked it. And someone did ask me, would you like to become an actor? And I thought, well, I'm going to leave it. Yes, I would like to. But I'm going to go and do a degree. And if it happens, it happens. If I strike it lucky, I know lots of people who didn't train and go to drama school and things and who became actors. And so, if it happens, it happens. So I went off to Imperial to do my 4-year masters in computer science, or computing technically, because I came away with an engineering degree. And unfortunately, for my future as a programmer, I spent a lot of time in the student union, both drinking beer and doing plays and musicals, and sometimes not just at our student union, sometimes at the King's College student union, where we would occasionally be shipped in, because there was a sort of cultural exchange program where there were not that many women at Imperial, not enough women at Imperial to do the shows that we wanted to do, and there were not enough men in the Musical Theatre Society at King's to do the shows that they wanted to do. So there was a general London melange of musical theatre. Worked with, what were they? KMT, King's Musical Theatre, and MMT. I think I didn't do any of their shows, but I think I did see a few of them. Yes. Layside, is this news? Is this news to you? Do you want to know what shows I did? I could probably remember. I could probably find out. Oh, lovely. Well, I was So I was hanging around from sort of 2011 to 2014. You'll notice that 2011 to 2014 is not 4 years long. So basically, what made me want to become what drove me to become a full-time actor was spite and a misunderstanding. Because there were generally, as people were reaching the end of their tenure at Imperial, people were applying to drama schools and going up for. There were lots of musical theatre masters things you can do around London, which are only a year long, and you get lots of exposure. They teach you how to do some dancing stuff and yada yada yada. One of them is at the Royal Academy in London. That was probably the most famous one. It's the one where I think it's probably something in my head tells me it has the highest hit rate for people coming out and ending up working. Anyway, I didn't really know anything about most of these things because I wasn't paying attention. I was too busy failing my degree. So one day someone went, "Oh, did you hear? Such and such has got a place at Royal Academy." Now, such and such is a very good singer and very good dancer, but I didn't think much of their acting. And I thought, fucking hell, they got a place at RADA. NB, RADA and Royal Academy, not the same place. Very different courses. One is a 1-year musical theatre course. One is a 3-year traditional actor training at the most prestigious drama school in the UK. Anyway, after I learnt this piece of information and on this misunderstanding and spite, I was like, well, fuck this. What the hell am I doing not giving this a go? And so I did. And then I got into Guildhall. I didn't get into RADA or Lambda. Those are the only 3 I applied to. Again, on my sort of, well, if it happens, it happens thing. I didn't apply to too many places. And yeah, then I got into Guildhall and then had a fantastic time there. So that's the story of how I ended up, what drove me to become a full-time actor. Any particular Shakespeare play you'd like to do / have done? It's a good question. I would say I'd like to do Macbeth. It's short. It's short. It's bloody. It gets straight to the point. There's little faffing about. You're just like, right, I'm here for the murder. Let's do it. Oh no, it's all gone wrong. That's one. I don't know. I find the best way to learn about a play is to do it. I don't know The Winter's Tale at all. And so that part of me would very much like to do a production because I feel like it's a great way to learn it. Yeah, King Lear is long. Other ones I enjoy. Twelfth Night is good fun. Animation degree, apply for a master's degree. Yeah. There we go. And now here you are. Here we all are. Isn't it wonderful? That was a word. Yes, my as some of you may know, my Blue Sky background picture is of me doing a production of Midsummer Night's Dream, playing Titania, with an excellent costume. When did I realise I could quit those awful little fiver jobs? I realised I could quit them I gradually priced myself out, basically, was what I did, whereby I just kept putting my prices up until eventually, like, I was charging enough. I'll finish this question and then... where was I? Yes, I gradually priced myself out. I think I did my last Fiverr job sometime in 2021, maybe early 2022. But there was there was a bit of a cliff edge at some stage where like I went from doing kind of hundreds of jobs a month to maybe one or two every other month, but still basically earning the same amount of money because I was just charging so much more. So, yeah, I think it's been at least... Basically, I definitely haven't done... I'm fairly sure I've only done maybe one Fiverr job while I've been in my current house, and I've been here since... One or two since I've been in my current house, and I've been here since end of 2021. So, yes. Yosh, your talents are not to be underrated. Right then. On that note, I am going to call it a day. I would thank you all very much for joining me on this chattier than usual stream. I hope you have wonderful rests of your days, and I will see you next Wednesday. Might be a shorter stream or slightly differently timed stream next week, but I will let you know. Everyone, have a good one. For now. Bye-bye!